Hi. So we're making some mac and cheese for my son. I thought I'd share a story with you that happened to me while at work. So I was scrubbed in a case, and we got it going. It was a good start. Um, we were now in the patient's belly, and oh, it's not focusing. No. I hate it when it's not focusing. Alright, so let's just go back here since there's a lot of light. So, we were in the patient's belly, and then, we were going through the motions of the operation. And I don't know what happened, but the surgeon got really mad at me because I wasn't doing something right, or I was hesitating. And there was a reason for that hesitation, but the way he reacted to my, I guess, insufficiency was that he got really mad at me. Like he shouted at me like from the top of his lungs, like I did something very horrible. And at that part was kind of like crucial, but not really crucial in the sense that it would kill the patient, but it would, maybe delay us for maybe 30 minutes or 20 minutes. But it wasn't, that very life threatening. But the way he reacted to it was just so very intense, you would say. Like he shouted at the top of his lungs like I killed the patient. Now in this video, I'm going to share with you how I deal with angry people like those. All right. So, what makes me credible to talk about this topic? Well, I deal with a lot of angry people. In fact, almost every day, I deal with doctors, and I help them in a very critical moment of taking care of patients. Now, I'm gonna tell you because of violations of my, I guess, being employed at a hospital. Well, this I'm talking about a different hospital, but anyway. So, I deal with surgeons a lot, and if I'm not able to read their mind or their favorite basketball team or their, just sports team lost that day or made some inexplicable dumb move to trade so and so for so and so, and they're not really good, part, or, they used to be something else, it's a shit show. So I'm going to share with you a story when this particular surgeon got mad at me. Okay, he got really upset because I hesitated. Now, I'm not going to tell you what. Now, in this particular part of the surgery, it's critical, but not too critical that it will kill the patient. No, by far, this is probably the start of the critical moment. So, long story short, he shouted at me. He says, he said a lot of things in a very high tone and made me feel like, I didn't do anything and felt like I wasn't really competent enough for that case. Well, in fact, I am competent for that case because I've done it multiple times. It was just that that doctor saw me for the first time, scrubbing with him, and if a little background about me when I am helping others is that I don't really say my name or I don't really introduce myself. So maybe that in part kind of made it worse because, I didn't introduce myself. But hey, if this guy's good at doing what he does, you know, high five to them. But, this doctor was just waiting, I guess, for the right moment to lash out at me. And he's been pretty known to do that. So I'm going to tell you what I did based on experience and how I dealt with this particular surgeon. So once he shouted, immediately I stopped myself. Okay? Because the first thing that you're ever going to do when somebody shouts at you is to defend yourself. Okay? It's that fight response. It's very, very strong, but you have to stop yourself. You have to remain calm and stand still. Look him in the eye and listen about what he's angry about. Okay, it's very hard. This is kind of hard. I've been doing this for a while, and it takes some time, but I'll teach you in the end how I do it. So when he started shouting, whoop, our camera's kind of crooked there. So when he started shouting, I just stood there and stayed quiet. Okay, because I wanted to make him calm. I didn't want to escalate the situation further. And if you know anything about talking to somebody like a tree, talking to a tree rather, if you know anything about yourself talking to a tree for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, you'll know that you'll get bored eventually. So if he started shouting at me and I just looked him in the eye and listened, I'm pretty sure he's gonna calm down and probably think of himself as an a-hole, and which he did. He did say it out front that when I stood there and listened to what he was saying, he said it at the end. So, oh, now I feel like I'm the asshole, shouting. And that's what you are. If you get mad and you shout like it's nobody's business, you are gonna look the fool. And I'm not saying that being angry is bad. There are times that you need to get angry, and I'll tell you in a different video, but there's really no need for anybody to scold you or to shout at you because you made a mistake. Okay? Rather than getting angry, find a solution quickly and then deal with the mistake later. Because if you react to getting mad, at a wrongdoing, then you're losing valuable time. So why did I choose to react that way? So I started, this started like a long time ago. I started to think about different situations that I could be in, because if you don't know me, I am very shy, and some of my, I can't really talk to people. Okay, I can't really hold a conversation with people, partly because I don't know much, and I'm shy. I don't really know what kind of topic to throw at people, aside from the weather. At least now I know how to talk about the weather. So, the process I go through on why I reacted that way was put myself in situations, imaginary situations. Um, One of the situations I thought about a long time ago was, what if your son told you that he's gay? And I thought about it, and and I thought about it really deeply, and I examined myself. I did like an internal examination of how I feel about it, and then came up with a reaction. I did this kind of mock situation because sometimes, I don't really react to situations appropriately, especially when we talk about different difficult topics. I tend to giggle a lot. Okay, and that's a sign of nervousness. I'm just nervous because I don't really want to offend anybody, and I think that's one of the things that is, I guess, wrong with me is that I'm afraid to stand up for what I believe in because, I'm an immigrant. Okay, I'm not a natural. Well, I'm a U.S. citizen now, but back then, I was an immigrant, and if I offended anybody, I would definitely be on the first bus out to out to Guantanamo Bay, out to wherever they hold people out for deportation. So it's kind of like this thing. It's kind of like this self-defense mechanism. Well, not kind of self-defense mechanism. Well, I guess I was just trying to, you know, and make an effort to how to appropriately behave in a social situation. And that's how I came up with, reacting to angry people. Because, if I reacted, you know, in my natural self to a person that was angry, I would definitely be, in a police station somewhere, or, I wouldn't be here in America anymore. Because as an immigrant, you really feel the tension of interacting with, natural born citizens. And, and you have a family, you have a job, and you don't want to be far away from them, so you think of other ways to, live with other folks, especially intolerant folks. You know, but, I love living in America. That's why I, you know, created this kind of reaction, you know, a result. And it has worked pretty well. I have also came into a situation with a teacher. Okay, I texted her at the wrong time. I texted her about requirements that we should bring for our class, and she didn't reply. But I got very aggressive, and she didn't really reply. And I went up to like several, you know, I reached out to other teachers as well, and they didn't reply. Well, they replied to me, but I got the feeling that I was disturbing her weekend. And lo and behold, when I did get to the place where we were going to start our nursing rotation at the hospital, she just, lashed out at me. Like full blown got angry at me. She took me to the side and she was like, you know what? You know what yesterday was? You know what day did you text me? It was Sunday. It was family day. And whose fault is that? I was like, oh, it was my fault, ma'am. It was my fault. It was my fault. That's all I said. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Whose fault is this? It was my fault, ma'am. And one of the things that angry people don't like is for you to talk to them. Okay? When they're angry, they just want to lash out. They just want to shout at you. They just want to make you feel bad that you did something wrong. And, that's not really the way to handle things. And if you just stand there, look at them, and listen, they're eventually going to shut up. They will eventually going to, back down. Or it could escalate more. It could piss them off. They could get physical with you. And then at that point, this technique is no longer valid. Okay? When they start to push and shove you, then it's, self-defense mode. Okay? My technique is just to de-escalate the situation. Otherwise, that's a different thing. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Hopefully, this video has been very helpful for you and maybe entertaining. Okay, just let me know if you like these kind of shared moments as personal moments, and hopefully we get to do this again. I have other topics to share with you, um, especially if you want to know how I would react if my son told me he was gay. We can make another video of that. I kind of got carried away with the vlog and forgot that I was making mac and cheese. And now they're getting mad at me because I'm too slow. It's alright.